Now let's have a look at question number 5. Henry stands on level horizontal ground 294 meters from the foot of a vertical tower which is 55 meters high. Part 1. Calculate the angle of elevation of the top of the tower. Now in these type of questions, it's a good idea to use some drawings for you to understand what is going on in the question. Okay, now this is Andre and he is standing somewhere away from the tower. Let me just draw some sort of a tower. Okay, let me say this is a tower and he is standing 294 meters away, and the height of this tower is 55 meters high, right? And this is the angle of elevation which they are asking. Okay, and this makes a right angle triangle, and whenever we have a right angle triangle we will use the kung fu expression, okay, which is sukatwa. Okay, sukatwa. Okay, this sine is equals to opposite over hype, cosine is equals to adjacent over hype, and tan is equals to opposite over adjacent. Now we have to look what we are given to in order to know which one of these we are going to use. So we want to calculate this angle, what, and the side which is opposite to the right angle is the hype and it's the largest. The side which is opposite to the angle is always known as the opposite. This angle can be known or unknown, okay, and the remaining side is the adjacent side. Okay, now in this we know the adjacent and we know the opposite, so we can use these ones, the opposite and the adjacent ones. Okay, so we will just write the formula. Tan x is equals to opposite side over adjacent side. Tan x equals to opposite side was 55, adjacent side was 294, and when 10 moves to the right hand side of the equation it becomes inverse, and in your calculator you will just write the shift button and then tan. Okay, so it will be tan inverse 55 over 294, and then you'll just use your calculator. And remember, this is a degree and answers to degrees should be rounded to one decimal place. In this case it will be 10.6, okay, to one decimal place. Now let's have a look at part B. Now this Andre walks a distance x meters directly towards the tower. The angle of elevation of the top of the tower is now 24.8, so it has increased, okay, but he has moved towards the tower. Let me just draw it again to assist. This is Andre, okay, and before he was standing here, now he has just moved towards the tower. The tower is nearer. Okay, this is the same tower, and the angle of elevation is now known. This is the right angle triangle. This was 55. This whole distance, the distance which he was standing before, and now this whole distance was 294 as per part A. This new angle now is 24.8. okay, now what we are looking for is how much he has moved from this part to this part. Okay, so Andre walks a distance x meters directly towards the tower, and this is x meters towards the tower. Okay, this is the x meter which we are looking for from here till here, and if we can calculate this side, we will subtract it from this large side and we'll have this side. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. So let me make this side y, because we already have an x. Again, this is the opposite side and we are looking for the adjacent side. Okay, and nothing to do with height this time again. So again we will use 10, 24.8, this time the angle is known, equals to opposite side, which is 55, over adjacent side, which is y. Okay, now y, we will just have a cross multiplication this time, and it will be 55 over 10, 24.8 is equals to y. Okay, and which is 55 divided by 10, 24.8, it is 119.0. so 119 equals to y. Okay, now this side is 119 out of the whole 294, so this is the remaining part. Okay, so if I subtract from 294 this side, okay, from this whole thing, then I will have my x, which is 294 minus my previous answer, which is 174, or in to round it off I will have 175, because it was 174.96. now for those of you who were not getting when using tan inverse and 55 over 294, they were not getting 10.59 and they were getting some other value, you can check your mode and try to go to degrees values. Okay, because these values are in degrees. Okay, so maybe it was set up to radians. Okay, just don't worry what is radians, but just press where it is, where you see degrees. Okay, just press that and then you will have this value. Now let's see part B. The diagram shows a pyramid with a horizontal rectangular base. So it has a rectangular base which will come in handy. The rectangular base has length of 4.8 meters with 3 meters and a height is 4 meters. Calculate y, the length of sloping edge of the pyramid. Now as you can see, there are 4 marks, which means there is some thinking which needs to be done. Okay, so first of all we need to find this one, and this is a right angle triangle, easily spotted, isn't it? This one, this is a right angle triangle. To find one of the side, we should know at least 2 of the side, but we know just one of the side. So if we know this side, we can then calculate this y. Okay, now for this side, what we can do, if we see the base from the top, if we see this rectangular base from the top, it will look like something like this, isn't it? These dotted lines, and this was 3 and this was 4.8, right? And this side is what we were looking for, this side. Okay, what we can do, because this is a rectangle, all these are 90 degrees. Okay, so if we just split it like this, what will happen is that this will become a right angle triangle, and we know this side and we know this side, and we are looking for height. Although we are not looking for the full height side, but we can find the height and then divide it by 2 to find this side from to this side. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. The formula is the height square is equals to the other 2 sides square. Okay, and the height square is what we are looking for, and it goes on the other side, becomes a square root. A was, take A as any side, I will take it 4.8 plus 3 square, and this is equals to, let me just do it in the calculator, 4.8 square plus 3 square, it's 5.66, 5.660, and then I have to divide this by 2. Why do I have to divide this by 2? Because I don't need the full side, I just need the half of the side. Okay, so I will divide it by 2. What I will get is 2.8, 2.83. so this side is 2.83 finally. Okay, and now we know this side is 2.83, this side is 4, and now again we are looking for the height, which is opposite to the right angle triangle, so we'll use the same formula. Hype is equals to root of the other two sides, which is 4 square plus 2.83 square. Okay, and I will just use my calculator again. It's 4 square plus 2.83 square, and I get 4.889, which is 4.8899, so on. So I will just round it off to 4.8 4.9. It will be 4.990. Okay, now part 2, the angle between a sloping, we have to find the angle between the sloping edge and the rectangular base. So this is what they are asking for now. Let me just show you. This is the sloping edge, okay, and this is the rectangular base. So this angle they are asking us. Okay, now even if you never found this value, you can use any value. You can say let. Okay, you can use this word and just assume any value. Do not leave any part because you didn't do the first part. Okay, just write whatever you can. Even part B1, for example, you knew this part, that if I were to calculate this line, I will find my y, but this line you couldn't find. At least write some value and solve for y. So even from 4 you will get at least 2 marks. Do not lose all the marks. Okay, so now we know the y, and we know this, we also know this length, isn't it? And we have to find this angle, which looks very simple. This was the y which we found, which is 4.9. okay, and this is the angle they are talking about, and this makes a right angle triangle as per the question. You can see this makes a right angle triangle, and this height is 4 meters. It doesn't look a very good right angle triangle though. Okay, so okay, now this was 4, and this is what we are looking for. So this is the opposite side, this is the height. Now we have to use sine this time. Sine is equals to opposite over height, because in sine we need opposite and height, and that's what we know. Okay, so sine x is equals to opposite is 4, height is 4.9. okay, and then sine on the other side will become sine inverse. Okay, so it will be x is equals to sine inverse 4 over 4.9. okay, so let me just write sine inverse 4 over 4.9, and it's 54.71, and I will round it to one decimal place, which is 54.7.